We're going to be disassembling the Motorola One. This shouldn't be confused with the Motorola One Power because the assembly process is different on the Motorola One Power compared to this. So if you have a Motorola One Power and you want to disassemble that phone, go ahead and watch our video that we did dedicated to that. Look-wise, both phones pretty much look almost identical except for the fact that Motorola One has a glass back compared to the Motorola One Power. And also the Motorola One we disassemble starting from the back of the phone. So first thing you're going to want to do, remove your SIM tray if you already haven't done so, and then heat up the back of the phone so you could loosen any adhesive on the glass. Once you heat it up the back of the phone, use a pry tool, preferably plastic, to separate the back glass from the phone. Choose a corner and just get your pry tool in between the glass and the frame and just work your way around. Alright, once you went ahead and pried off the back, just lift it up carefully because there's a cable for the fingerprint scanner on the back. And over here the cable is attached to the board, but there's a cover blocking it, so there's one Phillips screw you're going to have to remove. Go ahead and remove that screw. And then go ahead and remove the cover. Once you got the cover off, pop off the connector. Put your back aside. Next, you got 13 Phillips screws throughout the phone you have to remove. Go ahead and remove all those screws. Okay, once you got all the screws out, go ahead and lift up this plastic protective tape over here. That's going over the battery. And be careful, there's a cable over here running underneath it. Separate that from the tape. Next, go ahead and separate the plastic cover from the mid-frame. Alright, now you're going to disconnect the battery cable, which is located over here. Pop that off. Next, go ahead and disconnect the rest of the cables. You have one right here. One right there. You have a wire one over here. That aside. And then you have one over here. Remove the protective tape over it. And then lift up the lock. Now you have a Phillips screw over here. Go ahead and remove that Phillips screw. You have one more in the corner over here. Remove that one as well. Alright, so next you're going to lift the board away from the frame. Just make sure this lock is up on the cable over here, so when you're lifting the board, the cable will just slide out. So here's your board. And you have a water damage indicator over here. It's a white sticker. Alright, next you're going to remove the bottom cover. Here's your speaker over here. You got your vibrator motor over here and your charging port over here. Go ahead and disconnect this cable. Alright, next go ahead and disconnect the wire cable over here. And then you're going to lift up and remove the charger port board over here. There's some adhesive on the bottom. Just lift it up. Put that aside. Put the wire aside. Okay, so at this point you're basically just left with the vibrator motor down here, your battery, your mid-frame, and your earpiece up here. If you want to remove your battery, you'd have to heat it up a little bit and pry it off the mid-frame. Alright, now we're going to reassemble the phone. So go ahead and put your charger port back in. Once the charger port board is back in place, connect the cable. Next, put the wire cable back in. And put it through your frame. Next, go ahead and put the bottom cover back in. Now go ahead and take your main board and make sure the lock is open. Slide that cable back in. And make sure so the cables don't get stuck underneath it. And then the board has to go in, sliding in like a lip on the top, so you're gonna have to put it at an angle. Make sure the headphone jack goes in first. Alright, now that the board is back in place, go ahead and connect your cables again. And then go ahead and lock this lock for the cable that's already inside it. And put your wire cable back on. Okay, once you got all the cables back in, go ahead and put your screws back for the main board. Alright, now go ahead and put your battery cable back in. Alright, now once that's back in, go ahead and put your top cover back on. Alright, once your top cover is back on, go ahead and put all your screws back in. Alright, next, once you got all your screws back in, take your back cover and connect the cable for the fingerprint scanner. Alright, once your cable is back in, go ahead and put the cover for the cable back over. Once that's in place, and once your screws back in, put your back cover back on. Go ahead and power on your phone. And you're done.